Did you see the 10-year note drop yesterday? It went down about 17 basis points to 4.46, and that was before we got the PPI reading and retail sales. Lots of stuff going on. Let's talk about what Austin Goolsbee, Fed president, has to say. And of course, we need to talk about, is the Fed done? Folks, let's start off with PPI. Again, PPI is Producer Price Index. It is the second reading on October inflation, with PCE to come next week. Again, CPI, Consumer Price Index, across the board yesterday, better than expected. PPI did not disappoint. PPI came in at 1.3% and expectations at 1.9. That was headline. And core came in at 2.4 on an expectation of 2.7. So what does this all mean? This is yet another sign that the Fed is done. The Fed is at the terminal rate, and what we need to see is if the banks will start to drop from their 300 basis point spread between the 10-year and the mortgage rates. Oh, by the way, Wednesdays we also get an update on mortgage applications weekly. And did you know that rates matter, folks? Rates matter. We saw mortgage demand go up week on week just as mortgage rates fail. And interestingly enough, mortgage rates for refinance, I find this odd, but refi demand is now up 7% year on year. Now let's not get it twisted. Refinance demand last time this year was at rock bottoms. But yes, folks, rates matter. And now we have refis up 7% year on year. And total mortgage apps week on week are up 2.3%. So again, mortgage apps, PPI. What about retail sales? Retail sales. Who can figure out this consumer? We'll talk about something the Wall Street Journal said in a minute, but retail sales, core retail sales were up 0.1. They were estimated to be down 0.2. Last month, they were up 0.8. So retail sales are certainly coming in. How about headline? Negative 0.1. Yes, contraction. Estimate, though, was negative 0.3. And again, last month was 0.9. So again, net, the consumer is still spending. That brings up Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal read an article about consumer sentiment is broken. What do they really mean by that? So we have seen stuff, and I've reported on consumer sentiment, consumer satisfaction, all of these things, and it is really purporting a negative number. I believe we talked about it last Friday, consumer sentiment, down 4 months in a row. But what is happening is the connection between consumer sentiment, how they feel, and how they're acting is very different. See Q3 GDP at 4.9%. See retail sales continuing to beat expectations. So again, the consumer appears to be afraid, but is actually still spending, at least in totality. So again, very interesting what is going on. Wall Street Journal, in a separate article, is bringing up something that you and I have been talking about for 6 months. As rents rise cools, so will inflation. Wall Street Journal reports that the Labor Department shelter inflation has come down a lot, but more is to come. Folks, this is why I felt really good about shelter inflation rolling over for the next 4 months, because it's a mathematical certainty. And we are now seeing others bring this out. Mohammed Alarian talked about it yesterday. Now we have Wall Street Journal really picking up on what Mohammed said. So again, lots of stuff going down. Even Yahoo Finance, in a separate article, said housing costs to show more disinflation going forward. So folks, again, shelter inflation, owner's equivalent rent, these are all significant calculations, and more importantly, significant contributors to CPI, which we got yesterday. You are hearing more and more folks acknowledge what you and I have been talking about for 6 months. It will be happening over the next 3 months. How about Fed President Austin Goolsbee? He is out basically saying the Fed's done. The Fed's done. The Fed's got a golden path to a soft landing. Inflation is cooling at the fastest rate in 40 years, with only limited rise in unemployment. Folks, that is the soft landing. And of course, 40 years ago, they were talking about Paul Volcker's inflation drop from the early 80s. Where was inflation this time? Good thing you asked. Food was up 3.3. These are all off CPI. Food at home was up 2.1. Electricity 2.4. Car insurance, car insurance 19.2%. Haircuts 5%. Owner's equivalent rent or rent primary 7.2%. And we'll just throw in gas because it was a significant contributor to the downside at negative 5%. Let's talk about UBS. UBS is saying, hey, don't get gloomy. Don't think we're repeating the 1970s. Instead, we might be replaying Bill Clinton, President Clinton's 1990s. Why is that important? 1994 to 1995 is the one soft landing that the Fed has orchestrated in the last 50 years. 1995 was a soft landing. We had fast growth, rising productivity, and disinflation. Folks, we need to watch productivity and we need to watch how many folks come back to the workforce. So again, these are things that really could have that golden path as Austin Goolsbee is talking about. Patrick Bet-David's reverse market crash video is ever apparent after yesterday's rally. I expect the 10-year to rally again today, meaning price up, rates down, and the stock market to get a nice beat as well, because PPI was a significant beat to the downside, right? Less inflation, good. Less inflation, the Fed is done. Lower inflation, lower 10-year, lower mortgage rates. And again, once banks feel that they have certainty that the Fed is done, they will start collapsing that spread. So folks, there's a lot going on. I do want to let you know that we are down to 47 tickets. It is my belief that once we got below 50 tickets, that the final 47 will sell very quickly. So if you are a fan of One Rental at a Time, you like being a part of the community, you want to be with us in Vegas, do not wait. Buy your tickets now, because once they are gone, they are gone. I will do my best to put a link below. Also, don't forget, if you're looking to get started, you're looking to do the work, you can get the course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, for only $3.99. And because I'm traveling, I will kick in $100 in free goodies. You could get the $50 mastermind. You could get the buy box deep dive, out-of-state investing. You can get the legends of real estate, whatever you like. Go get some free goodies. And of course, buy it before the price goes up January 1st. Folks, the Fed is winning. The Fed is winning. So, do anybody think the Fed is going to raise? I want to ask that question. As you know, I've been calling the Fed is done for a while now. So let me know what you think. Anybody think they're going to raise this year? Because the market, the smart money, before CPI yesterday, 30% chance that they would raise again this year. Now, 0. And that was before PPI. The current movement by the market says the next rate move is down, and that is going to start in June. Don't forget yesterday, if you haven't seen yesterday's daily financial news, we talked about Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and UBS talking about 7 to 14 rate cuts between now and the end of 2025. I think 14 rate cuts is crazy, but hey, I guess anything is possible these days. Folks, I want you to have an amazing day. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. Do me a favor. There's a channel called Best of ORAT, where we take one video a day that got the most views and was deemed the most valuable, and we load it there. I create way too much content. The YouTube algorithm hates my channel. When you create 4 or 5 videos a day, you can't get the algorithm to kick in. Hence, these new content. So do me a favor, check out the new channels, the Daily Financial News, Best of ORAT. ORAT, of course, stands for One Rental at a Time. I would greatly appreciate it. I want you to have a great day. Take care. Bye.